Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the max death build that you can currently make in Wizard101. And it's actually pretty wild about how much damage you can get on a death. And we're going to be looking all about when it comes to all the different gear setups that you guys can make. And the ones that I usually make when it comes to at least my death. It's going to be similar format to my other videos that I've been making for like my balance, my fire, and my storm. Same basically understanding of it's going to be the same exact thing, and we're going to be going over all that when it comes to the gear and everything like that. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and let's get into it. So obviously this gear isn't going to be finalized technically because we're still waiting on the nightmare dungeon, and once that comes out, we're still waiting on like our reaver and stalker gear, which is basically going to be Aeon and eternal upgrades for like the robes and like the hats and stuff like that. So this is just essentially what you're going to have till that time comes, till the nightmare dungeon drops. This is the gear that basically is like the min-max setup. So obviously this is our first build, which is our full damage build or whatever. We have the Aeon hat, which hasn't really changed because, you know, this world hasn't given us a hat yet till you know, the nightmare dungeon comes out. Robe, nullity still best in slot. I mean, if you don't have nullity, you guys can always use nightmare or nightmare. I mean, it's the second best. It's not like it's bad or anything like that, like you're getting more resist, but honestly just nullity's better for the purpose of this build where you're going full damage. If you don't have nullity, there's no harm, and you can use the nightmare coat. Boots, you're going to be using Aeon. Pretty straightforward because it's just always been the best at the moment. There's not much change there. Wand, you can use Aeon wand, or you can even use, I think, Shababa wand. I think it's somewhere on my other character, but Shababa wand, all it does is it gets the same damage for your school and St. Pierce. It's just that instead of giving pip conserve, it gives you shad rating, which is still pretty good in my opinion. I think if you have done the raids and you do have the Shababa wand at like 160, there's no harm done. It's a better wand. I would probably use that more in PvE than using pip conserve, because sometimes I wouldn't mind getting a shad, because, you know, shads are 1 pip in regular PvE content. So like, for example, if I did want to use Lulu, you know, it's 1 shad, or even Wing Sorrow. But like Grim Reader, I know you can get it to 2 shads due to the fact is if you do the Spellman path for PvP players. So bottom path is unbanned. So you're not really going to be seeing this in advanced combat, but like in regular PvE, I can see myself using the top path for some reason, right? But just to get the initial damage out of the way. So that's that when it comes to the wand portion, at least, and why you would use the Shabab wand for the shads, at least. But you're still going to socket on HP, just because HP is such a good square socket now. The amount of HP I'm getting is absurd. 650 is saying something, right? That is legit saying something. And now, of course, our theme. With this setup, we are using all damage, so you are going to use the new stuff. You're not going to be using Aeon. I know it's like a minuscule upgrade if you really wanted to get the Reaver stuff. It's like two extra HP, same exact pips. Like you can even look at a comparison. You know, like it's really just very minuscule. Of course, it's not going to be completely accurate because of the fact that I have sockets on, but you guys can see like just straightforward. It's 2 extra health from here. The damage, there's technically 2 less damage when it comes to death, but you do get more block, and instead of a triangle socket, it is a square socket. But for dual schooling, I think Aeon is a little bit better, because you guys can see this gives 15 damage to all skulls while this gives 17. But for the purpose of this build, we are using Reaver because, hey, we want to min-max our death damage and see how high that we can get our death damage. So there's that. So we're gonna have health sockets in both and damage. Amulet, of course, Reaver. The Reaver amulet is going to be really good for mono schooling in regular PvE, because the fact that it's basically a direct upgrade from using Shane Von Shane. Shane Von Shane is good if you're trying to dual school, I guess, because it does give 4 pierce to universal. Well, if you do use Reaver and you do socket on a Pierce socket instead, Pierce socket's going to give you 6 Pierce. This gives 4, and you're also getting more resistant health, and you're also getting a blade while Shane Von Shane does it. So that's why the Reaver amulet is just so good, and it's like slept on. I feel like, and some people are saying like it's not that great, they'll just use Shane, but in reality this is a better Shane amulet, and that's saying something. But yeah, so we do have damage socketed on there, of course. Same thing with the ring, damage socket, and it's going to be the Reaver ring. If you look at the that was called the Cabre Aeon ring, you can just literally see it's a 1 damage increase. It's very minuscule, but I mean, hey, we're trying to make the max damage setups here anyways. And then the pet, I have an all damage Filosaur. It's for the set bonus with the mount because I get 5 extra damage from here, so keep that in mind. And then the deck that we're using is going to be the Reaver deck because you get circle sockets from here. You can use the Shabalba gear, you can use the Hunhow gear if you do have those. I just really didn't want to use them because it's very niche, and the blades aren't, you know, they aren't that great. But this gives you a Moonblade, of course, as well. So overall, my stats: 274 damage on death, which is crazy. And even with my pins, I have 187 storm damage, and I'm not really trying at all. So that's one thing to consider. Of course, if I swap some stuff around, it doesn't really matter, but I'm not really trying to do a score with this purpose of this video. It's mainly just showing off what's the max death damage that you can get on a death while having still like basically pretty decent stats. I mean, you have perfect power pips, you have perfect accuracy. It's just that your Pierce is kind of in shambles if you have to deal with any fights that require you having Pierce. Now that's when we move on to our next setup where like, hey, I need to switch to my Pierce build. Here we go. So roughly it's roughly almost around the same damage where you would have as an Aeon setup. Of course, there's like some extra percentages here and there, but we still have 12k HP with the setup. It's a little bit more because I am missing some health sockets, but I do have 57 Pierce, so you could go the Pierce route. There's nothing bad about it. They're both good in their own regard. The hat, robe, boots, and wand are still the same. But like I said, with the wand, you can switch it to Shabalba if you have access to it. Just because Shad rating, why not? I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. It's just personal preference. And then a theme, it's still going to be Reaver. It's just instead of using damage sockets, now I'm using Pierce sockets. Same thing with the Reaver amulet. Instead of damage, it is Pierce, and then ring as well. And the pet still remains the same, but like you can switch it up if you really wanted to. There's that, but still I am getting 5 extra damage. So like if you didn't have this mount, your damage would be at 214, so keep that in mind. But we're gonna put this back on, and then we're also using Pierce on the deck. So if you did rock a full Pierce build, you with the whole set bonus and everything like that, you'd be at 219 with 57 Pierce, which is still really good. You can pierce through tower shield. If any mobs do come at you and you know they do a shield, like a tower shield, you can pierce right through it, which is pretty good. And there's some bosses that do have like a good amount of resist, so this Pierce build is still really good. But once they fix the stat cap, like I said, you're just going to be using a combination of both, where like you get rid of some of the damage based upon what the stat cap is, and then just go for more Pierce. So for example, I might just do like a Reaver amulet, 263 with 33 Pierce. If I really wanted to, I can lose it even a little bit more. I'm like, hey, maybe I want to switch my deck and put more Pierce on it. Now I'm at 252 with 39 Pierce. So you're going to see a wide variety of setups when it comes to that, but we'll just see what time tells. But this is basically what the Pierce build and the damage build will look like. But once stat cap does get fixed, I'll probably make another video and tell you guys like a combination between them. And there's that. You can also switch if you really wanted to. I think I've talked about this in another video where you just go back to Aeon amulet, or Aeon Athame I mean, and what you do is on your amulet you just get rid of that accuracy socket, and you can sock it on an epic opal, which does give you like 15 or 40 damage up to it technically on your first initial hit. So I can use an epic enchant on like Lulu or for example Scarecrow or Deer Knight, whatever, but it's only good for the initial first hit. Like if you're in a fight where you have to do multiple hits, that spell's kind of useless and you just kind of wasted everybody's time type thing. So just use all damage, use all Pierce, use whatever works for you. But this is what my setup looks like at the moment, till I get the extra 155 jewels that I'm missing, which I'm not in no hurry to get right now because I already have almost 12k. The health builds are actually going like crazy this time around with this world. But yeah, so that's the setup for death. Be on the lookout for all the other videos like life and everything like that. I will down the line make like separate videos saying like the max outgoing or max health build, whatever, because at the moment I think life has the highest health that you can get right now in the game, and I've seen some builds and it's absurd. It is absurd. So be on the lookout for all the Wallery vids, and I appreciate all the support that you guys been giving me. So there's that. But hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join the Discord if you guys haven't. We're already above 500 members in the Discord, so I appreciate all the people that have been joining. It means a lot, so thank you so much. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.